Hello, everyone. Welcome to another chit chat. I hesitate to call these episodes Sunday messages because I don't know, I'm just doing this new thing. So I don't want to call it a Sunday messages episode fully, but I have more things to say, more ideas, more to share with you. And the big one that has been on my mind lately is lifestyle. Okay, and the reason why this is coming up is because the vast majority of the time I'm working with people who are already familiar with manifestation. They already have different practices that they enjoy doing. Essentially, what I'm getting at is I'm not working with people who are new to manifestation. Okay, so usually it's they've already manifested some things and stuff. They've manifested the job. They've manifested, money is starting to roll in. They are in that partnership that they desire. Okay, so there's expansion that wants to evolve. There's expansion that wants to continue, not evolve, but continue as a result. And a lot of the time that does look like lifestyle. Because lifestyle is really where you start getting into the composition of your life, right? But here's the thing that I've been noticing for a lot of people, and this has to do with social media for sure. Of course, we can't get around that. There's limited depth of understanding that you can get from social media alone when it comes to lifestyle. So online, the way lifestyle is presented is handbags and bougie vacations and champagne kisses and caviar dreams. Okay, that's generally speaking what lifestyle is presented as. Now, the issue with this is that it drives a wedge between where people are and then the lifestyles that they desire to create, because lifestyle is much, much, much more nuanced than what we're seeing on, maybe a micro vlog on TikTok or some photos and a cute little caption on Instagram, right? Our understanding and depth is really constrained and limited by the medium that we're using in order to communicate. And that just kind of comes with the territory. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's giving people a false perception that lifestyle is cultivated after you have a bunch of money, after you have a ton of disposable income that you can use for things that appear to be really satisfying and luxurious. Not to say that they're not, but what I really want to introduce to this conversation has to do with the nuances of lifestyle. Because let's look at this more from a manifestational perspective for just a moment. If we back up and we look at it as, okay, manifestation is an embodiment game. The more you think it, the more you feel it, the more you take action from the place of it is already done, it has already occurred, the more that the manifestations generate energetic momentum and then they pop into 3D, right? That's like the order of operations for manifestation. The same goes for lifestyle. Okay, so embodiment is how you get the ball rolling with your lifestyle, the lifestyle that you desire for yourself. And this is going to vary person to person. It's going to be different for everyone. And so the misunderstanding is just that I'll start curating my lifestyle when I have the cash to do it. The quiet part is no. Your lifestyle is built in the empty space. Your lifestyle is cultivated in your free time. Your lifestyle is cultivated in your morning routine and your evening routine, how you decide to feed yourself, how you decide to clothe yourself, like all of these little itty bitty micro decisions that you're making on a day-to-day basis. It's the difference between just the activities that you're choosing or where you go out for coffee this morning. It's like those subtle shifts are actually what end up adding up into a lifestyle shift. You know, what's the difference between just an average civilian and a bodybuilder? Well, a lot of the bodybuilder lifestyle is taking place in the kitchen. You know, that would be part of the evolution of evolving into a bodybuilder, evolving into an athlete. It's built in the kitchen. So lifestyle has many different components. It has to do with time. It has to do with quality and the nature of your relationships. It has to do with how you're taking care of yourself. It has to do with where you're going on a day-to-day basis, how you spend your time. You know, there's just all of these different things. And the thing about lifestyle is it's infinitely deep. I cannot sit here and list off all of the different categories that compose your lifestyle, because I like sticking to the day-to-day activities, because that's the easiest for people to wrap their minds around, is the idea of like, oh, I can start to see how what I'm doing now might be disconnected from the lifestyle that I'm desiring to cultivate. Because lifestyle is not merely optical. That's just how we communicate with each other online, is through optics, right? Or through storytelling. And we tell stories about experiences. And so a lot of the lifestyle content has just made people kind of unhook and separate themselves from understanding that they have a hand in actively creating it now through small actions and small decisions. That's how it's built, because it's going to add up. It's many grains of sand in a heap. It's not about just dousing yourself in luxury items. That's just things and stuff. That's not really communicating what's happening on a deep level with the lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? So there are a few things that I want to speak to. Hold on, I'm tuning in. I'm getting that for a lot of people, this has come up with quite a few clients, is that the idea of shifting when it comes to lifestyle, changing dimensions of your lifestyle, right? Evolving in all those ways. When you are imagining your future self, you're imagining your future self doing something. So let's just do this thought experiment where you're imagining the version of you that is wealthy, or you're imagining the version of you that has a lot of time and financial freedom, however you want to see it. That version of you is actively doing something. Okay, when you're in your mind. And so you can just bring that activity or whatever you imagine yourself to be doing, that version of yourself, conjure it up, bring it to mind, and then pinpoint some of the activities or some of the things that might be on your schedule as you're kind of synchronizing with that version of yourself. Because this is giving you clues. It's like that version of yourself, or the type of lifestyle that you desire to create, is always giving you clues as to what micro shifts you would want to make now in order to bring that to reality. Because to me, like I said in the beginning, lifestyle is almost like all of the sediment that fills in the gaps between the bigger manifestations that you've come into and that you've created for your life. So like a big chunk might be career, and another big chunk might be your primary relationship with your significant other. Another big chunk of it might be where you live. those are like the big bulky items that we're thinking of. Lifestyle is all of the stuff in between. It's all the in-between space. All of those day-to-day decisions that fill in what you're doing on the weekend, right? All of that stuff starts to fill in. And that's what creates the ideal lifestyle that you're wanting to create. Because this is just one of those conversations that kind of comes up in deeper levels of manifestation once you get beyond like the bulky stuff. Then it becomes, okay, it's like macronutrients versus micronutrients. Macronutrients are the job and the living situation and the significant other. The micronutrients is all the other stuff that's making up your life. And so I promise you, if you start tuning into this version of yourself that has whatever type of lifestyle you're wanting, it's not going to be endlessly consuming Instagram posts. That's just not what you're doing. That version of you is not going, maybe sometimes, but it's not going to endlessly be numbing. Your future self or the version of you experiencing that lifestyle is very present with life. If you imagine yourself living at the beach and going to the beach, are you at the beach scrolling your phone, or are you at the beach being present? We all know the answer. It's like, that's a clue. That's a hint. That's pointing to our need to be present. And so it's very difficult to actively create the lifestyle that you want when you're not being present. That's one of the key pieces in all of this. So let me tune into the next piece. As is with everything that I have been reminding everyone, this takes practice. These are skill sets. When we're talking about be present with your experience, be fully immersed in your now, right? Those are things that we've kind of been training ourselves out of, and that's not natural for what your brain wants to do. I was talking about this a little bit yesterday, I think, where your brain is wanting to forecast problems, and it wants to either jump into the future or evaluate the past, and it's not wanting to immerse itself in the present moment. Your soul is kind of that timeless essence of you that can, hold the line for that future aspect of yourself, or what we experience as a future aspect of ourselves, and that you can fully connect with now. That's like the sweet spot. That's the magic zone where you're going to be feeling your best. But it really does require mental attention, like deliberate, I am going to make choices that are in alignment with the micronutrients of my life. That's what lifestyle is what type of micronutrients am I experiencing on a day-to-day? What am I ingesting on a day-to-day? Then that adds up, that overflows, and before you know it, you've made a lifestyle shift. And so, of course, this has been coming up because I have big kid school on my mind all the time, which I've been talking about a lot. But it really is like being able to dip into all of those micro decisions, being able to fully flesh out all of the other details of your life, where we're no longer focusing on the bulky stuff, but instead we are making a deliberate decision in order to, oh gosh, I'm trying to describe like this visual that I'm getting. The best way I can describe it is just like being pickier, being choosier, saying, okay, this is the type of experience that I want to create. This is what I want to be doing more of. So how can I do that on a micro level? Because the thing with Big Kid School and like the way that it's structured for everything is like, okay, we have a theme. There's something that you're focused on this week. This is like homework for this week. However, your work, your job, the decision that you end up making is, what are the micronutrients of my life? What do I want those to be? What do I want that to look like? If I'm thinking about my dream lifestyle and Sydney is giving me this week-long container where I get to play with this theme, I get to focus on this area of my life, what do I want my life to be composed of? And it's actively putting your attention on that and giving you the opportunity to sculpt that out. Because this is the piece that is really overwhelming for people. This is why focusing on like cars and handbags isn't really going to cut it. Like that's not building a lifestyle. Cars and handbags are not what constitutes a lifestyle. Lifestyle is way more complicated than that. Thank God, it's way more nuanced. And so this is where, by breaking it off piece by piece and getting you to zoom in on, okay, these micronutrients that I want to focus on, these elements, I want to experience more of this in my life. I want these activities in my life. I want to say I did this, that, and the other thing in my life. I want to say that this is a normal experience in my life. That's the creation of a lifestyle. And this could be anything. For some people, like my best friend is coming to mind right now. And one of the things that she desires for herself is farmland and just all sorts of like a focus on art and animals and painting and just all that shit. Okay, that's like her desire. And so the micronutrients of her life, like what she would want to focus on in this example, is, okay, how can you like microdose those experiences? This is how we tie it together with embodiment. Embodiment is, you're doing the thing now. You are fully embodied in the thoughts, words, and actions of that end state you. Okay, and so action is a way to really solidify the experience and anchor it into your body. Because your lifestyle is not going to be fully embodied through thought alone. You can't do it on a meditation cushion. You have to move in the direction of it in a more significant way. Otherwise, you're going to fall out of it more often. If you frequently are doing things that are in alignment with that end state lifestyle that you desire to create, you're going to get there fast. Because it's not something that you're thinking about and contemplating anymore. It's something that you have chosen so many times on a micro level during the day that all of a sudden, poof, your life just turns into, that's how it is now. These are the things that are making up my life. And so this is, this is the creation of all of that other stuff. This is, also the conversation that we've been having over the past few days has really been about life composition, right? Like when we're focusing on big manifestations, we oftentimes like sweep all the other stuff under the rug, or like we're not paying attention to those micro decisions. We're not paying attention to the day-to-day. And we forget, when we're focused on something significant, we forget that our life is made up of the morning cups of coffee and how we get ourselves ready for bed in the evening and the daily walks that we're going on and, the people that we're talking to and the quality of content that we're taking in during the day or the media that we're consuming during the day. It's like the places that we go and the things that we do and the people we see. It's like this really adds up when you're looking at it on a micro day-to-day basis. And when you start looking at things under a microscope more so, we want more of a micro look at what's happening, then change occurs fast because it's no longer theoretical. And the reason why I'm excited about Big Kid School as well is it's not thought-based. Like, we're not just thinking. It's not and don't get me wrong, I could sit and talk about energetics all day long. I could sit and like lecture about the technicalities of energetics, and like that's a big part of my job, right? That's what I do. Hello, this is episode 231, I think, on my podcast. So yeah, I can like talk about energetics a lot, clearly. But there's a difference between talking about it and embodying it and actually doing it and actually breathing life into it, because this is also part of the I don't want to say oversaturation, but this is just what has happened with us being bombarded by so much information. You have a lot of people who have become information hoarders. Like, I'm going to hoard all this stuff. I'm going to listen to all of these podcasts, and it's never going to make it to the point where I'm actually implementing it in my life. And it's like, no, don't do it. Don't do that. Do not just hoard information. You want to bring it all the way through. You want to take the information. Okay, you have a deep understanding of what it is that you want and what you know to do. Bring it forward. Being fully embodied in it means that you are doing the thing, that it's fully animating itself through you. That's part of the satisfying aspect of being human and being incarnated, right? We like physicality. It's a part of the deal being here. And so all of this to say that this is the basis. This is why I keep telling people Big Kid School is a gym. Big Kid School is a gym. We are not talking about it and thinking about it. We are doing it. We are looking at the areas of our lives and we are doing it. We're focusing on a theme and then we're doing the things so that all of these micronutrients end up adding up and overflowing. And then before you know it, it's like the greater lifestyle that you desire to create for yourself can actually come to life. So if you have big goals or you have a big vision for yourself and you know that there's a certain lifestyle that you are wanting to create, no matter what that is, if it's family oriented, if it's friend oriented, if it's career oriented, if it's health and fitness oriented, you can have any type of lifestyle orientation that you desire. But I never, ever, ever want you to be under the impression that you are financially far from making those things happen or actually embodying it. That's the point. And so don't let the internet fool you, and definitely do not let social media fool you into thinking that it requires liquid cash right now in order to make that happen. Because optics are a very minimal component of the greater conversation of lifestyle. So that is the spiel that I have for you today. Don't forget, if you're interested in Big Kid School, go to the link in my bio, check out the description box, go to the show notes. I'm sure I'll have more thoughts for you in the coming days. And we start June 1st. So if you want to get your dose of micronutrients and you need some support with that, and if someone telling you, okay, now go embody that thing, like, oh, great, if you tell someone this is the thing that I want, and then they say, great, now embody that, and your eyes glaze over and you don't know what to do and you feel really overwhelmed, come to Big Kid School. That's what it's for. We're going to dispel all of the confusion and nebulous nature of, oh, just go embody it. We're going to get rid of all that, and we're actually just going to put it into practice, bring it to life, make it happen, and that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.